now.
Play a little music. Where's the music, John?
It's playing. Hold on.
I can't hear it. I don't believe you.
You're talking over it. And we're back again.
Here we are.
Episode 30, Josh.
Episode 30. Yes.
It's been so many. It doesn't feel like 30,
awesome.
though. It doesn't feel like that.
30 already? Wow.
30 already. It better be
You're
good.
number 30, Marcio.
It better be good.
Yeah, you better be good, man.
So how's it going, man? So how's it going, Marcio?
Say again?
Oh, can you not hear me? Hold on.
Yeah. It's a little low.
All right. I'll see if I can fix it.
All he said was, how's it going? So it wasn't that exciting.
You hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Just asking how you're doing today.
Pretty good.
Good.
Tired off the work, but it's fun.
Have you fallen off any ladders lately, Marcio?
No, not much.
That's good, man. That was a crazy injury you gave yourself last year.
It was on the left arm. I was feeling hurt for a while though. It's like probably for like 2 years. I feel like my left wasn't quietly right, and I knew it was coming. I just, it was a lot of money on the line. I could do really good on lefty. It's not many people that can stop me. So besides Devin, it's just,
Yeah.
pretty. So I did what I could, but I was always injured. I was always doing like therapy, everything, because it was, it was feeling like pain, like pronator, elbow. Wasn't right.
And how long did you have that injury or that pain for?
It's been that injury before the surgery.
Yeah.
It was bothering me for 2 years. For
Wow.
before I ruptured the tendon, it was 2 years bothering me. I keep doing good, but it's not many people good in left arm, so I was doing all right.
So you felt like because maybe the competition wasn't quite as good left-handed, you were able to just kind of coast by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, I can keep going. What are you gonna do? Just keep going until, oops.
Yeah, I think a lot of the newer arm wrestlers don't realize how often, even when we do compete in the higher levels, that we are injured a little bit. You know what I mean? No, it's very hard to come in 100%.
It is. I'll tell you why. My case, my experience, I've been living in the States for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I always work hard. I'm a fence installer. I became an item worker. So I do a lot of physical work. So it's hard for me to train, and I'm older now. I'm 43, so I gotta listen to my body. I can't do nothing crazy as I used to do. So it bothers me a little bit because I know I can get, a little better, but you always feel pain here, pain there, and then, plus having to work, not easy.
Yeah, that's what it is for us too. Like when you have a physical job like that, it's very tough to recover and do everything, eat right, and then train on top of it. Everything, the training's almost the easiest part. Is the taking care of yourself that's hard.
Yep.
It is. Between the WAL, between the regions and the finals, I couldn't even train. I was like, because I didn't feel much pain after the regions, but the next 3 weeks, we got a new job. Then we have to do everything by hand, like digging holes by hand with the post diggers and bars. So that killed my arms, man.
Uh-huh.
I took over it, and then I was doing, therapy. I felt better, believe it or not, 1 week before the finals. I felt better, no pain. So like, but you do what you do, right?
What do you do for therapy in between tournaments?
I try a lot of stuff. Last year I was doing shockwave therapy. This year I decided to do more like massage, massage therapy and you know electric stimulation, simple
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Acupuncture a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't like that much, but you know, you just try whatever you can just to make yourself feel a little better. You don't want to feel any pain when you go to a
Yeah.
tournament.
Right.
I, Even if I didn't train much, I just don't want to feel anything. You know.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I got a massage today because I got this radial nerve thing on my left arm. It drives you nuts, man. And I'm 45, so I'm up there with you. So it's like things fall apart quicker for us, and they don't go back together as fast. You know.
And this year, my right hand is bothering me a little bit, like a lot of pressure. I've been pulling too much in the hook in the last few years.
Yeah.
Uh, I used to top roll, just top roll, but I got a little injury on my pronator, so my rotation was bothering me a little bit. So
Uh-huh.
I started to hook a little more, especially the way they set up a little bit in the WAL. It looks more, it's right there if you know how to use it. So then I train my hook a little more. That's how I do it. If I feel like if I like to top roll, I feel like I can't top roll much because of pain. I try to hook.
Uh,
If hook is if I feel pain there, I try to top roll again. So
yeah, that's the beauty of being versatile, Marcio. you
Mm-hmm.
know, how important do you think versatility is at the highest levels?
I think it's key, man. To be honest, besides being like crazy strong, like some of the guys are, you gotta be versatile. You gotta be smart. You gotta have speed. I try to combine everything, for every opponent. I'm not too good at study opponents, but once I see it once, I keep it in mind the way they pull, their strongest, move. And I basically I can do it all. I can go fast, I can hook, I can top roll. If I don't have any injury bothers me, I can basically do everything, and I think it's very important.
Mm.
I learned a lot looking at John Brzenk when I was younger, looking his versatility. Like he can hook good, he can top roll really good, he can do transitions during the matches. So I try to
Yeah,
find the good things that
yeah.
you look.
Learn from the best guys, right? And how like when you because you have wins on John over the years.
Yes,
The first win you got on John, what did that do for like your confidence just in general in the sport? Did it make you feel like Superman?
man, it was kind of a dream come true because when I came from Brazil, I came in the end of 2000, right? 2001, I pulled John for the first time at 220 pounds at the Harley pool. And surprisingly, he beat me easy lefty. And we had a good match on the right-handed, on the
Hmm.
straps. He took my hand, but it was kind of, I slowed him down a bit, so I got a little confident.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna train to pull him. So the next year, 2000, no, then I only pull him again like 2 years later in 2003, and then I beat him for the first time in Lake Tahoe, right and left. I mean, I ended up losing. I beat him once. He beat me twice in the final, if I'm
Uh-huh.
not mistaken. And I beat him lefty, and then I beat him again in Dave Letterman the same year. Probably guys saw that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember beating him right-handed again in Mohegan Sun at the Mohegan Sun Casino. It was like 2007 or 2008. And I don't remember if you. Of course, he beat me so many more times than I beat him. I beat him like 4 times. He probably beat me like 20, over 20 times.
Yeah.
Last year, I got a better record against him. But
Mm.
he's the GOAT.
He's the man, right?
Yeah, he's the goat. He's the goat. You think he'll be back next year, Brzenk?
I'm not sure. I mean, I spoke with him like a month before our finals at the WAL. I asked him if it was true he was not coming. He said no. He got both of his shoulders was busted. He said he can't go because he know he's not gonna win.
Yeah.
He's not 100%, and he knows he needs to be 100%.
Mm.
So he decided not to compete, but he was thinking about retiring. but I'm not sure. You never know.
Well, yeah, it's like when
I
we
hope
go.
not.
It's like going back to what we were talking about when, the sport is hard when it's that painful, and when you've done it for as long as John has, like, he probably just like, come on, it's like it hurts just too much. I've done everything I need to do. He has nothing to prove to anybody, Like, I'd love to see him going out to like seminars and teaching and having a great time, because when I saw that video of him and Yoshi in Japan, it looked like to me he was just having a ball. And if he could just enjoy the rest of his career that way, I would be just happy for him,
Yeah. I mean, he's a great guy. He's so smart on the table. I learned so much just watching him. Every time I had an opportunity to pull him, and I'll pull. Last time we pulled, when we pulled at the UAL back in 2013, they called me like a week notice. I was coming back. I was bigger, but I was not really healthy, strong. I looked strong, but I wasn't. I had a Achilles tendon rupture in my foot.
Okay.
I used to play soccer, so I stopped. Light. This is for light people, No. And I was like, after that injury, I was just coming back walking, but I was like 1 month training. Like I was probably 8 months without doing nothing. I was like 1 month, 2 months actually, 2 months lifting very light, but it wasn't, doing anything specific or practicing. So, but every time I have an opportunity to pull him, I was like, yes, doesn't matter if I'm ready or not, just go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it shows you the level of taking that opportunity to pull him. It almost changed your career, giving him a match, not even beating him. Like you said, I gave him a match, and all I wanted to do was train for him. Like that just shows you how important it is to do well against that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you, Marcio, it's been a lot of fun watching you the last couple of years, man. It's just last year with Devin, those were incredible matches, and I actually had a lot of fun watching you and Tim pull a couple weeks ago at Dave's tournament. That was a great match. I got people asking a lot of questions about it right now online about your thoughts about pulling Brezin and how you felt the match went.
Well, me and Tim, we pull only before. I'm a big fan of the guy. He's an old guy. I call him an old guy. He's still doing amazing, He's been beating a lot of the European guys. I think he's like 51 or 52 years old. He's still doing, really at a good level at that age. But me and Team I think it's like a fight. It's like styles make matches.
Sure.
I always feel confident when I pull him. We pulled in 2008 in Connecticut State, if I'm not mistaken. I beat him over there. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, a week later in Arnold's, he beat Brzenk, and he lost to Lucas in the final. But it was like kind of give me an idea where I was standing at that point. Mm-hmm. And then we pull again the same year in Harley pool. I lost on fouls. It really didn't get to pool. I got 2 fouls before we start. Referee's grip, and I got 1 foul on my shoulder for moving, and 1 foul ridiculous for moving a finger or whatever. So we didn't get to pool. Actually, this match we had like a couple years. Couple weeks ago. It was the first time he pinned me. I think he's in a very, very good shape right now. He looks never. Even though there was a lot of, speculations, but
right.
It is what it is. It was a fun match. It was a good match. It was 3-2 with styles, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Did you expect it to go inside?
Yeah, he's been training a lot inside, and he's been doing, with great success. So the first match, if you see it, probably guys saw on the tape, it was a hook, but he was on the top. He's
right.
It's a little early, because the refs, they were trying to do the ready go after don't stop was confused, so don't stop. Yeah. Ready, he cup like this and go, and then I stop him, but it was like, when you hook and you're turned
under, yeah.
Yes, and I was under, like I was able to put it back in the middle, but it was a lot of effort, and at one point I was like, basically let it go. I could stay there for another minute, but it was like good 20 seconds hook match. Then I tried to do different the next one.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that there's a couple of people have said that, Tim was talking about the rules, he's not comfortable with the WAL rules and that kind of stuff. And we talk about that on a lot of shows, Marcio, because the WA rules are so different. But most of the guys we've talked to like them because of how fast the matches get going. There's not a lot of waiting around. There's not a lot of fouls that stop matches, which you just mentioned. How do you feel about, the rules in WAL, and, do you like them? Do you prefer the traditional rules?
Man, I'll tell you what. For me, as an arm wrestler, I've been doing this for 25 years, right? So it's a long time. I never had a problem because I'll be honest with you, it doesn't matter the rules. When I went to WAL, I just look at the way the way they were setting, and I was fine. It's like, because you gotta think about it. You're so experienced, right? If you're a new puller, it could be a problem. But it's like riding a bike, you know. You just listen to the rules and see how they go. In the end, it's gonna be this. I don't think the results will change. It doesn't change because in the end, it's two arms against, an arm against another arm. It's just a different setup. But to me, it's just.
So really, as long as you know the rules ahead of time, you're fine with it.
Yeah, I basically learned the rules at the qualifier.
Right.
Phoenix City. It was like,
yeah.
I went there because it was a possibility of a great money, and at the final event, it was the last one, and I was getting out of my contract with the UAL. So, and then I went there. It was like, okay, how it works? And I saw it, and I was like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Just gotta prepare. Like when you like I said, when you're experienced, you just look at the way it is and just adapt yourself at whatever they want to do. They doing a good promotion, so you want to be part of it. Just look at the way it is and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you did in other other pro leagues. Just gotta look at the way they want it to be done and just.
Did you train those setups in training, like with no, just mental?
No, it's a lot of mental. It's the same thing. Like when people ask me if I train for speed, I'm like never.
Right.
Never.
Yeah.
At practice, I'm very slow. Nothing. It's purely for me. It's mental because competition is mental. Like, you can train physically, you can train a lot, but at the competition, you have to have that mindset and know what you're gonna do. Be focused. That's it.
So for you, it's just mostly a mental, like just attack. It's like kind of when they say go, I'm gonna explode, basically.
Yeah, my style is a little bit aggressive, even though.
That's a nice way to put it.
That stops. I'm still thinking. I can be patient. I can do a lot of stuff. That's why the versatility is really important. If you're on a reach this level. So I try to combine everything, and I basically go with the flow. And I'm doing WAO because there is nothing better. By the time that I went, like 2 years ago, there was nothing better as far as prize money than. I was about to retire, to be honest.
Yep.
UAL, when the UAL, I was like, I wasn't even paying much attention in arm wrestling anymore. Then there was a new motivation. Then it didn't work out the way it was supposed to. And then the WAL came, and it was like, man, I just got to take a shot, right?
Yeah.
You've arm wrestled a lot of different weights, Marcio. I mean, I remember you were at 198 at a nationals a few years ago, and obviously you're doing the 225s in WAL now. What do you walk around that, and is this like the weight you feel most comfortable at?
You're talking about the weight, right?
Yeah, what weight are you most comfortable at?
Yeah, I'm around 238. That's what I'm usually. 238, 240. Right now I'm 241. Yeah. So I'm just eating. Okay. I didn't go back to the gym or practice. Maybe I'll go practice tomorrow with the guys, but I'm just taking a little time. Like I said, it's so many like elbow pains, brachialis, pronators. You just gotta stay away a little bit, for 2 months to go back. It's not easy, man. I got so many miles on my arms, so.
How often do you train on the table?
On the table, when I'm focusing on something like once a week, you mean with other people, and then maybe another couple times doing a specific, like, for a hook or for top row or whatever it is that I have in mind. It's specific, usually 3 times a week. and then maybe I do another couple workouts just to, you know, for blood flow all the body. You know.
So is your arm wrestling specific workouts mostly just focused on power, or?
That's the good thing. I don't. It's been a long time that I don't train the way I wanted to. I'm very critical on that because of my type of work, and you know, it depends how I feel. So for the last time I trained, I was able to train hard and a table and with weights was before the WAL finals in New Orleans. That was I was training. I trained very hard for that one. After that, I got a little bit kind of injured a little bit, so I took some time off and then came back because the 2014 season, the finals was actually in 2015 January, right? And then the 2015 starts, I think in May. So we have qualifiers, then we have regions, and a month later we have the finals. So it was like very. So I couldn't train, but I dedicated. Like let's say if I couldn't do pull-ups, I would do something else. Right. Actually, it's 2 years that I can do pull-ups because of my shoulders. I love to do that. So.
Do you think good hard pull-ups are a real good exercise for arm wrestling?
Yeah, pull-ups, it's really good. Holds, wraps, with weights or whatever. It's really good.
It's good for your back. You think that built up your back pressure real well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think pull-ups is very good though. I miss it.
Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much everybody says that we love pull-ups, but I think your work must be pretty good too, Marcio. If you were doing so much of it and you're still doing so well, all that hard work with your arms is going to be helping.
Yeah, especially my hands and wrists. Like I'm tying, doing this movements. Like I do like pronation, supination. Doing stuff. I move a lot my hands, and I think it helps. The only problem is just, you like to do something else too, like, at certain level, and then you can, it holds you back. But I always have the good mentality when I go to a tournament of whatever it is, I'm ready. You know what I mean? I try to do my best, try to put my 100%, especially in the mind, Even though if I didn't train as much as I wish to, I just put in my mind that I'm ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you were right. People are already asking about, how do I train for speed? What does Marcio do for speed? And it's interesting because both you and Corey Miller, when we talked to him, you guys both said you don't use it only in tournaments. It's interesting. How can I get faster? How can I get faster? And it seems like the answer is you have it or you don't.
Yeah. I mean, I was always fast since I started arm wrestling. It's so much fire inside and you want to explode. Some people have, some people don't. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm somebody who I'm fairly fast on the table, but when I first started, I was slow. And I really do believe I have the same mentality as you, Marcio, where it is mental. Like, if you're holding yourself back from hitting as hard as you can, you're not going to hit hard. It is, you have to, I always tell my new guys, listen to the ref. If they say straighten your wrist, straighten your wrist. If they say move to center, move to center. And when they say go, you go. And it's go as fast and as hard as you can, because I don't think a lot of people really realize, too, at the high, like, when you're real close to somebody, that little half a second of momentum can really make or break a match.
Yeah, definitely. I was trying to get advantage right in the beginning, so it makes it easier, right? So if you can go faster, I mean, it depends. At this level, I don't know, but if you can get an advantage, you go faster, or get advantage right in the beginning of the match. It is important.
Oh yeah, especially if you are very, very close, and plus, really, there's so few things to get an advantage for anymore when people are that good. Like, we're all, when you get to the higher levels, everybody knows how to arm wrestle. So it's very difficult to get those advantages, and sometimes the advantages don't come from necessarily technique. They come from aggression.
Yeah. Man, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Absolutely.
Just go there, do your thing,
All right, we got a bunch of people asking questions, Marcio. They usually get mad at me if I don't start throwing them in there, so I'm going to start talking to you about some of this stuff.
We can't have the fans turning on us,
I know.
Marcio.
So one of the questions is, who do you want to pull next in a super match? I don't know if you have anybody in mind. I know you just said you're kind of injured, but is there someone that you have in your sights?
Well, I wish if I wasn't if my left was good, because I always like to pull two arms. I was thinking about going to Zlati Tour this year because they have a 105 class.
Yeah.
105, which is I think it's 230 pounds, whatever.
Yeah, 231.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 231. So, but it's just hard to go one arm. Price is not great. You know what I mean? Gonna have to
Yeah.
if you know what I'm saying. We are a family of five. It's not easy. So because I talked to Krasimir, and a lot of people think it would be interesting a match with him. That 105 class, 231-pound class would be great. He just unfortunately is not enough over there to offer.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those tournaments everybody wants to go to, but it's very expensive to get there, and it's just wish that there was some more money in arm wrestling around here to send people like you over there, because I feel like a lot of the top guys that we have in North America don't get to go, and I know also you're from Brazil, so I'm sure there's a lot of Brazilian people who like to go over there too and compete, because right now it's in terms of internationally it's probably the biggest tournament other than the World Championship, so it's definitely be fun to see you go.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's I think it's back. There was a couple years not as good as it used to, but I think this year is gonna be back, on track.
Yeah, I think so.
They're doing a lot of promotion, so it's good for the sport.
Michael Todd is going.
Yeah, it's good for the sport. There are some Brazilians there. Probably Carlos Tiete is probably going.
Okay, cool.
And they're trying to put Wagner Bertolato again. He's been training again this year, so he's back in weight again. He was off for a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if he's going or not.
Talk about arm wrestler who uses aggression. That guy, he's awesome to watch.
He is. He's a caveman.
And just a huge man. Like I met him at the Arnold. I think it was 2014. I think he was there, or maybe it was 2012. I can't remember. But I remember meeting him, and I didn't realize how big he is. He's just a big human being, like big everything.
Like 6'3", probably 275. Big guy.
Yeah.
So that last question was from Matt Tucker. Sorry, Matt, for not saying your name live. But we got one here from Andreas, who's out in Romania, where he says it's 3 a.m. right now.
Wow.
He said, never seen you really do any pressing. Marcy wants to know what you think about pressing in general and your opinion, the tricep weapon.
Well, I use that a lot, though. I just use it differently. If you watch my match with Ron Bat at semifinals last year, it looks like I was dragging, right? But first I engaged my tricep before I drag. So I use tricep a lot. If he talks about the traditional, press, I try to be more technical because I think there's gaps in the style, right? So because they too much over here. I don't know if you remember Dave Randall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also Bertolato, he does that.
Yep.
Because I try to do more technical, but I engage my tricep. My tricep is one of my weapons, actually.
Do you implement the tricep after a top roll as well? When you have hand control coming through, and maintaining your rotation and doing that as well.
Yeah, I do a lot of shoulder roll. Taking hands with when I pull. As far as I remember, the last times I used those taking hand and shoulder was when I put Todd Hutchins at the same weight, like long time ago.
Oh, the NAL.
Yeah,
right.
I think it was the class. Man, that was a long time. It was a great match. Everybody thinks I was gonna flash him in the first couple matches, then he's gonna catch it up in later.
Right.
And it was the opposite. It was the opposite.
Yeah, you won the first two, and he won. Or he won the first two, and then you won the last three, correct?
The first one with it was a weird feeling, right? We never pulled, and I lost. The thing is, I lost 10 pounds in a day, and we didn't have like we waiting like 8. I had to wait. I had to wait for him. We waiting as like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and we pull like 10 in the morning the next day. So I didn't really. I didn't hydrate right, so. But in the beginning, it was hard to hold him. He got an unorthodox style, and he on that press. Then the second match, no, the first match actually, he won, but we didn't pull. It was fouls for whatever. And then the second match, he got me, he pinned me. And the next 3 matches, I found a way to beat him. I took his hand and I shoulder right on the top of his hand, and that's a shoulder roll with the hand control.
Yep.
Like. I did with Sylvain Perron a few times that we went to when I went to Canada because he got a strong shoulder press. I press him, but with hand control.
Yeah, I think I remember maybe I don't know if it was the last time you were up at the Mike Gould Classic, maybe in 2009 or 2010 or something. I remember you beating him that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What an arm on that guy. Where's he been?
He was off for a while. Then he pulled, I think, the beginning of this year, and. He got I think he ripped the tendon, the bicep tendon too.
Oh no, that sucks.
Ryan Aspie, yeah. Ryan Aspie. He beat Ryan Aspie, then Ryan Aspie beat him twice in the final, and he got, bicep tendon injury.
That's
right there.
Too bad.
It's because, listen, everybody who pulls this thing for so long, they're gonna end up having something, I have my first big right arm. It was 2010. It was actually. In that tournament, when I pulled Brzenk, one of the hook matches, I felt like my shoulder really bad, and then I pulled, I think, Don Underwood like a month later in London. I was about to cancel, then everything was prepared for it. I was like, then then my rupture was complete over there with him.
In London?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was with Arm Wars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I was about to stop arm wrestling. Then I came back to training. I was supposed to do everything right. The physical therapy, I did a half of it. Mm-hmm. I was a little upset. Got my focus on different things, And then I came back after a couple of years. Didn't feel good at all. I think I pulled Rob. I think in a remember? When was it?
And that was at Arm Wars too, right?
Yeah,
or something like that.
Like, it was not too good. I beat him, but it was crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't feel my hand. My hand was like, I didn't train, I didn't do any arm wrestling training, so you feel horrible. Like, even though, of course, he's a good opponent, but it's just, then I was not into it that much. Then when the UAL came with all that propaganda and stuff, then it seems then I start getting serious. And then since they start getting serious, I start beating everybody. My only losses was for Zink and Larry, basically.
And did you how did you feel like was that the time period where you started getting like maybe more serious and training hard and feeling better when you pulled Richard Lupke's?
Yes, because my injury was 2010. Like 2012, I pulled a couple tournaments. I pulled that super match, and I didn't feel right. So something was not right. So like I'm not ready yet, and I wasn't training that much either. So I started training a little more. Then I got disappointed again. There was nothing going on. Then in 2013, I was playing soccer and training jiu-jitsu, nothing with arm wrestling. And beginning of the year, I got an injury on my foot, an Achilles tendon. I had surgery. I had to stay home for 5 months. I gained almost 30 pounds. I had 5 months at home eating junk. I was so upset. And then they have that competition at UAL 4 because I don't know if you remember, they canceled. It was supposed to be a pro tournament by Marvin.
Okay, yeah.
Then it got canceled, and he called me many times to go. I wasn't interested. It was like, oh, you don't know, it might be your day, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, okay, let me buy this ticket. That's it. But I was not. I was limping because of my. And I started going to the gym. So by the time I went to the competition, it was like maybe not even 2 months, like lightweight training, like nothing. But then after that, I decided to get serious because it was all the contracts and stuff, and it was supposed to be that good.
Sure.
And I started training serious. Then eventually, I think, then I had a super match. It was supposed to be with Jerry Caderet, and then it got canceled. And then it was with Richard Lupkis, and I trained for him. I trained hard for it, and I beat him, which is I didn't know I was gonna do it, but I was like, it was good experience. Then I had a UAL 8, which is my class was me, Ron Bat, Matt Mask, Chris Chandler, you know, everybody was there besides Brzenk was a super heavyweight there.
Right.
So then I won right and lefty, so over there, so that was pretty good. Then I went to WAL for the last qualifier in 2014. It was when I beat Devin on the right and lost to him on the left. So it was then I got to be really excited about it and train hard, and I ended up winning the finals.
Yeah, it's always good when you kind of lose that fire and then you get it back, because it's really tough. It's tough for any athlete to go through an injury or go through a downtime, because you work so hard to get good at this thing. It takes so long. And then you take a dip, and it's like the most depressing thing in the world for an athlete to take a downswing.
Especially when you go back and you'll feel like, oh my God, it's, you know.
Yeah, you go back and you're like, this is hard again.
Yeah, it's like, it's not, it's not, you're not in a good shape because you practice with people, everybody feels strong, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so bad, I don't think I'm going to do this again. it takes a lot of time to build up again. And especially not physically, but mentally also. So to have that fire back, and then you're a completely different person.
Oh, for sure. It's very difficult. And,
Yeah.
that's the difficult part, is that like you said, you're in this game long enough, you're going to get hurt. Something's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, like, you really, hopefully nothing too serious, but, you got to, now I don't know if there's a way to really prepare for it other than just talking to people about it, but, did doing well against Richard, did that really make you feel like, okay, I'm really definitely coming back?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was key for me. Because, Richard, everybody knows him for his strength. And I think a year earlier, or 2 years earlier, he almost beat Ziplenkov. So it's kind of give you an idea. Like, he was beating, basically, most of the guys. He only lost was for John and Devin back then. It was like, he was beating everybody, basically.
Oh, yeah.
For me, it was like, okay, I'm there again.
It's that you have to deal with Marcio, and John Brzenk does, and Richard. I mean, when you've been pulling for so long at a competitive level, like approaching 30 years for you, it's got to be tough to have the motivation to keep doing it. You've already had such success at a high level, and obviously John Brzenk has, Richard has. So sometimes people like us wonder, why do you keep doing it? Why do you keep competing? When you have these different injuries and you got all this stuff at work and big family, why keep doing it?
Yeah, it's. I basically when the WAO came with the way they came, like a lot of promotion, like 1 year they explode.
Yep.
And, when I heard about the prize money, it's not just because. It's not about the money, but it helps too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But the money just motivates you because I never made so much money like last year, and never in my life. So I was able. When I went to the finals of Las Vegas, I brought my whole family. We spent 10 days over there. It was a little vacation. It's different. Mm-hmm. It's like you have a will to train for something. You're gonna do good, right? Win or take second or whatever. It was good prize money for the top two at least.
Right.
That was two.
Absolutely.
It's right there. So that is like making like it's worth it, like to spend the time, especially because, like you said, like you have a big family, you have work, you have this, you have that, and like last year, and when I had a tournament, like at the finals, I took like almost 2 weeks off, right? Because I wanted to be at my best, right? So it's worth
Yeah.
it because there is money. If there's no money, then like this year was not a lot of money involved. So it was like, you know what, I have to work. So let me provide. I'm the provider at the house. I got small kids. My
Yeah.
my
Yeah. Yeah.
my youngest guy is 4 years old. So my wife stay home. Next year she'll
Hmm.
probably find a work, but it's on me. It's been on me in the last 7 years. So I gotta make sure. So if there's nothing big, it's I will keep on wrestling. I'll keep doing, but I'll get to choose where I go, like one or two tournaments. If there's no money, maybe I'll go once a year, but not with the same motivation.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, the
It's-
thing is, you're not even talking about like the love. You're losing the love of the sport because that's not really what it is. You've loved the sport the whole time. It's just, listen, I want to love it and get paid. That'd be great, especially when you have a big family and you have, you know, obligations and big obligations that you want to do. It's not that you don't want to take care of your family. You want to do that more than you care about arm wrestling. It's just the way it is, and it's difficult on us when you've been doing this for over 2 decades and you are the top of the line.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
yeah, if it's something like that's why people that sometimes they stop because you do for the you got pride, you got glory, but it just feels good, right? If you're good in something, you're gonna feel good. It's like a hobby, but you can't leave just doing that. So, but it costs a lot because you have to spend time. Like last year, I was training after work. Last year, I was still having training at school after work.
Yep.
So I would come home at 9 o'clock, have a small dinner, and I would train 11 to midnight, 12:30. It was just the way it was last year. You know,
Right. Yeah. It's
effort just to be able to train and get as much better as I could.
yeah, and like it is. It's not. It's not about money, obviously. I mean, look, I don't know what it is about the sport that some reason we all stay. I don't know if it's the pressure. I don't know if it's what exactly about it, the mixture of things. Because somehow we stay. We show up and we stay. But it is. Would be nice to get these guys because like the top level guys, including yourself, are fantastic athletes in general. Like you're dedicated you're all this time to doing a sport. It's a martial art to some degree anyway. It's not everything that you can't watch it at home and understand exactly what's going on as a layman. That itself means something. So it'd be really nice if we could make that truly a professional thing for a handful of people, and then that would give the people who are slightly below that reason to go, oh yeah, I'm definitely. You tell me you're gonna pay me $50,000 a year to do this thing? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because when you do it for so long, it's got to be something else. You know what I mean? I did like when I was in Brazil, back in Brazil, like my dream and the first one was to be state champion. Okay, achieved national champion. I won 9 years straight. Then there was like South American because Brazil is South America, right?
Right.
So I was the best in South America, weighing 187 pounds. Then I was like, what's next? Then I went to words. The first words that I went WAF, I won lefty and I took third right-handed. So
Right.
I was top three right there. First words, first ever. Then I was always in the top. Then I wanted to be like world champion, right? So in the first one I was world champion. Then I wanted to win on the right. Then I won on the right. Then it was like I was like 5 times WAF world champion. And I was like, Then I wanted to come to America to pull John Brzenk and Ron Beth, just to see if I can get it. Like if I can get a one win, one of them, I'll be the happiest guy.
Exactly.
Then after we get, you got that win, you want to keep it up, and then it's
Yeah.
it's just it is.
Yeah, as an athlete, you never want to go backwards, like we talked about before. And you do it like
Right.
those little stepping stones are very important for an athlete in any sport. And then you are right. There has to be a certain point where you start going, like, I'm kind of done chasing that. Like
Right.
I have nothing left to prove as far as titles go. I have enough trophies. I don't need any more titles.
Yeah.
Show me something else, which is
Are you
really,
speaking of yourself, John? You talking about your
Oh,
own trophies?
well, yeah,
You got
totally.
those all those WAF titles behind you on the wall. Marcio, what about Devin? So all these battles you've been having with Devin, everybody's asking, like about 6 people named John all want to know, what are you going to do to beat Devin next year? Is he beatable, right-handed, etc.? Do you got a plan?
It's just you gotta spend as much time as he spends. It's just well deserved for him because he spent he spent a lot of time in arm wrestling. I wish I could spend that time. I don't have the same luck. I can't. It's just we have different lives. I think I'll be as good as anybody at the top level if
Yeah.
I can spend time like full time arm wrestling. I'll be really, really, really strong. Much better. Injury free. You can take care of yourself a little more.
Right.
A lot more to be honest. So I think the key is this: we all, top level athletes. I can't. It just if I have the time, if I find the time for I don't know, for some reason, if I got sponsor or whatever, if it's something helps me to dedicate time for this,
Oh,
and I would have a game plan.
What do you think about his training method of like basically pulling 5 times a week or 6 times a week or however many times he can? Have you ever tried like pulling that much in the 25 years you've been doing it?
Well, when I was younger, I used to pull every day and train every day and do all crazy stuff. Then, but I was always overtraining. Like for me, uh, first time, uh, first time I trained for words, I hurt my wrist because I was 187 pounds and I was
Yep.
doing with 200 pounds. This is the way it is. I used to train with a big guy, like the strongest guy in Brazil. He was a world champion once, and he was 140 kilos, like 320 pounds. I don't know, over 300 pounds, and I was 187 pounds.
yep.
I started training with him. He was responsible for getting me at the next level. When we
Hmm.
started training, I was like, I couldn't beat him with two hands. By the end of 6 months, I was like even, and then when we had the overalls in Brazil, I beat him. It was like I felt bad because I beat him. His whole family was there, and nobody
Oh yeah.
believed
Yeah.
me. Like my, but I was training with him. I would train with him. I would practice with him on Saturday for 1 hour. We would train like a lot of statics and a lot of stuff with the weights, different pull-ups, static pull-ups, and then you would pull again for another hour. Like I mix it up, and there's never pain. At one point, I was like, I could pull for I don't know 3 4 hours.
Yeah.
But I think over here when I came to the States is just because the work, like the physical work, it's not good for recovering. The type of work that I do,
Yeah.
it messes up everything. So I cannot do that. I cannot pull like 3 4 5 times a
Mhm.
week. I don't even think it's that good. Like for me, for my build, is not
Yeah.
good. Once a week, a good training once a week is good
Mm.
because you need to recover. It's a lot on
Mm.
attendance. So I think it's that everybody's different, right? Depends on what you do.
Yeah. Well, John, John Brown he pulls 3 or 4 times a week, and he's been doing that for a couple of years now, right, John?
Yeah. Yep.
And so him and Devin definitely seem to be able to do it. I don't
Oh,
know. So maybe I don't know. I
I would
think
like,
that Devin's technique. Go ahead. Go ahead.
look. I would like to bring them to work for me for a month, just to just to see if they're gonna be able to do it. Like digging
Now
holes,
train.
man. If you have to dig holes by hand, I did for 7 years straight, like
Oh
30,
my God.
40 holes a day, like just by myself, just me. It's not easy. It's not
That's
everybody that
Y-
can do it. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't
no.
even want to do this type of job.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
Yeah.
That's a whole different scenario for sure. And let's say right before, I think it was 2014 New Orleans finals when you were really in great shape, right? Uh, Leading up to that tournament, what kind of rest do you take off before that tournament, and what does that look like?
I actually didn't took enough rest. I felt it in the last match, like when you're getting. I only took 5 days rest, and for me, for being training like hard, in practicing and with weights, it was very, for me,
Sure.
it was 5 days, but the 5 days wasn't enough. It should have taken like 7, 8 days.
Yeah.
I mean, everything works well, but it would be a little better. I mean, you learn. It's everybody's so much different, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool. And there was a time that I was, resting 2 days and I'm fine. But as you get older, I think you need more time, you know.
Do you think it changes as you get stronger too? Like you need a little more to repair?
Like I said, it depends how you've been training, you know, certainly competition. If you've been doing it hard, you should take more time off. If you've been just light training and stuff, it doesn't really matter. 3, 4, 5 days, it's fine.
And do you take off 5 days from the table, or is that 5 days from weights? And
From the table, I try to take like a minimum of 15 days.
okay,
Because you don't want to feel, not for me, I don't want to feel like that little, when you right after practice the next day you feel like a little bit here, a little bit there, you know.
Yep.
I don't want to feel that thing. Like 1 week before the tournament, for me, I don't want to feel anything.
Gotcha.
I want to be ready.
Yeah, I always try, like, for myself anyway, I try to almost take just a slight too much. You know what I mean? Just like almost insurance. Like I know I feel good after this point, but I'm just going to do a little bit more just in case I have to cut weight, I have to do this. Maybe I don't sleep that well during that week, just a little bit more insurance, because the last thing you want to do is train super hard for 3 or 4 months and then go, I didn't rest enough and I feel terrible at the tournament.
Yeah, I did a lot of tests, and for me, it used to be good when I was younger. It used to be good. There's 4 or 5 days used to be perfect.
Yep.
And sometimes 3 days. But as you get older, as I said, and because of my type of work, you gotta take some time. Like I basically didn't train between regions and finals.
Yeah.
One of the reasons maybe my endurance was less.
Do you think it would be an improvement to maybe give the athletes maybe a 3 or 4 month window between regionals and finals?
Oh yeah.
I think so too, because like even with the southern and the northern finals,
I'll tell you, it's not like thinking. I am 100% sure. Like they shouldn't do it like that. It's 1 month. 1 month isn't.
yeah,
Like-
because a lot of those guys pick up. I mean, it's so easy to pick up an injury like that. Just a little nagging thing that doesn't go away in a month. And like especially with the southern to northern, they had a whole extra week, and it doesn't really matter so much if you have 16 weeks or 17 weeks, but if you have 4 or 5, that can make a big difference.
Yep. For me, it wasn't a good experience this year. Last year wasn't too, but this year was worse because I worked harder and I couldn't train. Like I was unbelievable. I was disappointed, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean,
do what you gotta do.
yeah, it's kind of like our nationals and then worlds. We don't have nationals in September and then worlds in October. We have a good 3 or 4 month period in between where I think it's smart to be able to heal up, rebuild, and then train a little bit and then go back.
Definitely. Yeah, they should fix that.
It'd be nice if they did that. So, what do you think about, like, people always ask this question. I know it irritates John, but I mean, the steroids stuff, and do you think that the WAL should test? Do you think it's not that important right now? And also, after you're done answering that question, which is always John's favorite, do you take any supplements? Is that something that you like, or do you not take them, or what?
Well, when I'm training, I do. I went to we got a friend. She's a nutritionist, just to balance my food a little bit, and basically regular protein, creatine. It depends. Creatine sometimes at one period it was bad for me.
Yep.
But amino acids. There's a bunch of new stuff that I try once in a while. But I don't know if the WL should test. It depends. They gotta have a system organized. Then whatever they want to do. I mean, if there's money, it's good. Whatever they choose, or whatever they want to do.
Yeah. And what do you think about testing? Do you think it's something they should do or not?
I don't know, man. I don't really care much about it.
Hmm.
If you don't have Olympics, doesn't really matter. If it's
Right.
Olympics, if you became, I don't think we ever gonna be, or if they, forever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, some people have said that, the idea right now is to get arm wrestling more popular, like to the common audience, and that it's more important to, the WAL gets the show out there, and then maybe when it's a more established league, like 5 or 6 years down the road, they can start doing things like testing or maybe more weight classes or whatever. But right now, what's important is just, getting the personalities out there and sharing the excitement with people that are not familiar with the sport.
Yeah, I think the exposure is the biggest thing, right? We live in
Mm-hmm.
a time that arm wrestling it's on TV, it's everywhere. So a lot of
Yeah.
people, watch arm wrestling, and I got recognized by a lot of people in different stores from the ESPN. So
Yeah.
it's good. I don't know how long it's gonna last. I don't know what's the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you talk about like future, like you said, like 6 7 years in a row, then we start building like getting the kids more involved and just to build the sport up. And if you get to that level, then it's worth to do testing, to do everything. But
Yeah.
we see what's the future of all these leagues have for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. That's true. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, speaking about that, though, I mean, a couple of people have mentioned that WL might start doing, super matches or like to maybe the top four in different weight classes having super matches over the course of the year. I mean, you seem to do really well in super matches. Is that a format that you prefer over the tournaments, or do you have a preference?
Well, I just need to be noticed. I just would like to get noticed before, so I would train more for for better endurance or whatever.
So it's
It,
kind of it's
Hmm.
kind of like the setup. It's kind of like the setup talk where it's like just tell me what I gotta do and I can do it, like that kind of thing.
yeah, I just need to know what's going on in advance. Like everybody needs to know. Okay, we're gonna start doing super matches in like 3 months or 4 months. We're gonna do this way, that way, and then we just get ready for that.
Right.
I'm not planning on bullying this year anymore. I just want to get start feeling better. I can even see it's hard for me to scratch my knee. So just the elbow and all this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's gotta
It's
take some.
tough. It's definitely
Look,
tough.
people say, "Oh, I gotta go right to train again right after." It's like, I think you have to, like my body at least, I have to take some rest, and then when it feels okay, then after a month or two, then you start slowly, nothing crazy, start practicing, doing little stuff.
So, a question for you. One of the things that we do on this site, Marcio, is John makes a lot of training videos for people that are brand new to the sport. And one of the ones he did recently, he covered, whether or not you should cap the thumb or not. And so, a lot of times, we get a couple people asking questions about that kind of stuff. What do you tell people that are new about the thumb positioning, and what's the point in doing it or not doing it?
I think it's good for you to do it because no non-capping is just you just need to know how to pull that way. It's very technical.
Hmm.
So when you cap, you protect your hand a little more.
Hmm.
You're just trying to teach him more more technique. Like I don't teach him to hook right away. I try to teach him the top roll, to do all the rotations, to follow with the body and stuff like that, and to cover your yeah your knockwood and not just uncover like that. I don't think it's people will take advantage because they're new, you know,
Right.
Yeah.
and they're better.
Yeah.
Once you pro, I can pull both ways, but I prefer the cover because my hand is not
Yeah.
big, so I gotta make sure I place my hand well. I got a very strong hand, but I gotta place well. You just need to know
Yeah.
how to use it. What you
Right.
got?
It's a gift for people just starting out because all of us have been to a lot of tournaments. You don't almost never see somebody seriously injure themselves while top rolling. It's almost always when they're in a bad position to hook. Like broken arms usually come from someone who has, they're in a hook and they let their arm come out, and that's when it just pops. You don't typically see people in top roll getting hurt like that.
Yeah, I think Josh is breaking up a bit.
So.
Can you hear me, Josh?
Yeah, well, I can hear you guys. Obviously, you can't hear me, so sorry about
We can
that.
hear you a little bit. I think you're on the whole delay,
All right, basically, what I'm trying to say is that top roll is safer for beginners because you don't see people break their arms in top roll. It's always in the hook.
Gotcha.
It's a little, yeah, you try to teach technique first, right? How to arm wrestle. Otherwise, they would go like,
Right.
man, like I did. I started like this, I didn't know what I was doing. And I tried. I basically, in my life, I try to do everything. Just because sometimes you lose to somebody who does something so different, you want to do the same thing. You just want to, eliminate the things that you don't know how to do it. But
Right.
when it's the first time, I think top row is better, just because it's more technical. It's not so dangerous, and.
Do you think it kind of combines more muscle groups so you can kind of maybe tie everything in together a little better?
Yeah, because it looks so simple, hook, because people say that hook is the maybe the more simple style, like more common style, but I think it's to prevent injury, you need to be technical to hook, like
Right.
in my opinion. So I think top row, even though some people think it's worse to learn, I think it's easier because you pretend you have a watch, you look what time is it, so
Yeah.
you just it's not it's not that hard, right?
No,
And-
it just takes a long time, and then somebody finally feels it, and they go, "Oh, that's all I had to do the whole time." It's like anything else.
What
Yeah,
people
that's
have
true.
more difficult, it's to connect your hand and your arms with your body, like to connect everything, and then usually you isolate the arm without knowing. It's
Right.
beginners are always like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Marcio, our connection's a little rough right now, but it's been a lot of fun talking to you. We really appreciate you coming on the show. Definitely been a lot of fun, and best of luck healing up and everything. I hope to see you next year doing better than you did this year, even.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you'll be back, man. We're going to see you and Devin round 3. I can't wait for it. I appreciate it, man. Say hi to the family. Good luck. I hope you can get a little time off before summer goes off, and we'll see you soon.
All right, guys.
All right, man.
Hope everyone enjoyed the show, and it was my pleasure.
All right, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Peace.
Obrigado.